Welcome back to another tutorial on calculus. Today we'll be going over monotonic sequences and the behaviors of sequences. Basic definition on monotonic sequences are sequences that have orders that are preserved over time. So what I mean by that is, let's say we have some curve here. Let's say the sequence is a function, and that function has a curve that goes up, slows down, and then continuously goes up again. And so you can see that even though it's slowing down here and it looks like it's beginning to decrease, it's not actually decreasing. It's actually going to continue to decrease. So in the beginning, it's increasing, and in the end, it's still increasing. So it's preserving the order that the sequence is going in. Similarly, if you have a function that is decreasing, in the beginning it's up here, looks like a peak, and then as it gradually moves on, you see at the end that it's still decreasing. So it's preserving the order in which it was going. And so visually you can see that one is increasing and that the other is decreasing. But we won't have the luxury of graphing a plot and looking at it visually. So we have to do it we have to mathematically figure out how we do that. And so there's three different ways that you can decide whether or not a monotonic sequence is increasing or decreasing. So the first, now I have three different sequences here that I'm going to demonstrate the three methods with. All of them are considered monotonic. So the first method is known as the subtraction method. And so what you do is you have a sequence, you would choose a point, it would be a n plus 1, and you choose a point before that in that sequence, a n, and you subtract them. Depending on the sign of that, if it's positive or negative. If it's positive, and you know, and that means that a n plus 1 is greater than a n. So that is increasing. And on the opposite, if the subtraction is negative, then that means a sub n plus 1 is less than a sub n. This means it's decreasing. So what this means is, if you choose a function, not a function, but if you choose any point in the sequence, if the number after a n is larger, then that means that it's increasing. But if the number after is lower, then that means it's decreasing. That's what that means. Another method that we use is known as the division method. And it's similar to the subtraction, except we are going to divide. We're just going to divide. And based on that, we're going to be using the number 1 and compare it to the number 1. So if in this case it's greater than 1, and this means that a sub n plus 1 is greater than a sub n. And if it's less than 1, that means a sub n plus 1 is less than a sub n. And just like above, if n plus 1 is greater, then it's increasing. And this one is decreasing. And the last method that we have is known as the derivative method. This one, to me, is just my opinion, is the best function because to me, it works every time, no matter what function you're using. It's one of those things that's just kind of, it's a kind of a no-brainer once you figure it out. But explaining it is kind of elusive. But the way you do it is you would convert your sequence into a function with respect to n, and then you would take the derivative of that function. And then you would compare the terms. You'll look at the signs of the terms, if each term is positive or negative. And so if you total all of them together, if the total is positive, then you know it's increasing. And if it's negative, then you know it's decreasing. And once again, it's kind of difficult to explain. It's much better to work out the problem using the derivative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve the subtraction method first to show you how it's done. Switch that to the red.